Independence Youth Soccer League scheduling instructions. When you log into the site, this will be the first page that you come to. The first tab you want to click on is the Tournament tab. In the left-hand navigation, you're going to see a lot of menu items. To start setting up a schedule, click on Flight Schemas and then Play Levels. In the middle of the screen, you're going to see any that have been started already. To start a new one, click Manual Add. Manual Add allows you to start a new one. So if I select Boys Under 7 and make this active, then I can set my start time interval, my playtime length, and my halftime length. Now the start time interval is what's key. The start time interval is how long the game lasts on the schedule. Games per week, we want to do 1 in this field. Number of groups, subgroup teams to advance is 0. Since it's a league, we're not advancing any rounds. And then we click Save, and that starts our flight schema play level setup. Now, essentially, we want to set up our groups, our teams, and then our games. The first thing we do is click on Groups. We click the Add, and we type a capital A and Save. We've created one group. Record saved. Then we go back to rounds. So now we have our one group. Now, depending on how many teams we have, we're going to click Add Row, however many times we have for teams. So in this example, let's say we have 6 teams. So I click Add Row 6 times. The first thing I do is I type a 1, and I match the rank here, and then I hit the Tab key, and then it makes it A1. Now after the A1, I'm going to type the team name. The next one, 2, I hit the Tab key, and then after the A2, I type the team name. And so on. 3, Tab, space, team name. 4, Tab, space after A4, team name. 5, Tab, team name. 6, Tab, team name. And click Save. Now I've created my teams, and I can click the Back to Rounds button, and I see one group of 6 teams. Now we want to make sure a template is in place, and down below we're going to see what templates we have. We've got one for 10 teams, one for 6 teams, and one for 8 teams. So since this is a 6-team group, I know that we are good to go, and it's going to use this template to create the games. So I don't need to worry about anything. I can click Back to Rounds, click on Games, and click Automatically Create Games. The system will create the games. It's going to create a 10-week season based on the template that we've created for these 6 teams. Here it's showing me 6 teams, each playing 5 home and 5 away. At this point, we can manually schedule these games. So, Boys Under 7 is set up. I've got one group, 6 teams, and I've got all of the pairings set. So at this point, I click on Scheduling. And then I click on Assign Game Schedule Manually. On this screen, I want to select the flight I'm working on, which will be Boys Under 7. I select Boys Under 7, and I click the Search button, and I'm going to see these 30 unscheduled games I created. What you want to do now is look on this page and find the game that you're looking for. Team 3 versus Team 6. Okay, I want to schedule that game for this weekend, Saturday. I want it to be 9 a.m. So I select the date, I type in the time, and then to pick the field, I click on this box with the 3 dots, and I pick the field I'm going to be scheduling on. I click Save, and it says games for the green block have been updated. We can see that down at the bottom. We'll see any scheduled games. If I click on this box, I'm only going to see the fields that we set up for Independent Soccer League. So I clicked on that box and I clicked search. Now going forward, I'm only going to see the fields that we set up for this soccer league. Again, we look for our next game. And we also want to schedule Team 1 versus Team 2 this weekend. And we're going to schedule this game at 10 a.m. at Gear Park A. I select the field, I click Save, and I've scheduled that game. If I make any mistakes, I can make changes. As an example, I have 2 games scheduled for Saturday, July 27th. I scheduled Team 3 versus Team 6 at Merriere. If I want to change this to 10 a.m., I can just change the time. Now that I have a date, a field, and a time in there, I can change one piece of it. When a game is unscheduled at the very beginning, you must enter a date, a time, and a field. But once it's scheduled, you can change any piece of that. So as an example, if I wanted to move this game to Sunday, I could say, no, this game is going to be on the 28th instead. I click Save, scroll to the bottom, and now I see this game is on Sunday. To unschedule a game, I click the Unschedule button, and then it becomes an unscheduled game just like these other games up here. This is how we manually schedule games. Since we're playing some catch-up here, I'm going to suggest that we start with manually scheduling games. I would suggest you try to work on next weekend first. So try to get next weekend's games scheduled. Then we can publish those games. Then once we have next weekend scheduled, then we can go back and schedule the games that have already been played. When in the left-hand navigation, when I click on Publish, and then I click on the words Boys Under 7, I can see what I've scheduled. So I've scheduled one game for Team 1 versus Team 2 on Saturday, and another game for Team 3 versus Team 6. And again, since we're typing in the team names, they'll show up like this in the schedule. Scoring games we'll cover a little bit later, but it was flight schemas, play levels, and feel free to rewatch this video to review the process. Once we get all of these teams set up, we can go from there. Thanks a lot, and I hope this helps.